I want to make another build video. I haven't particularly made any new progress, but I kind of wanted to discuss what I'm going to do next, because the next video will have the back panel installed, and rather than explain it afterwards, I'd prefer to explain it beforehand. So what I've got is the back panel laying on top of the enclosure just out of convenience. I'm trying to organize the garage, and I've got a bunch of stuff that I need to unload. So it's just the state of the situation. So rather than double or triple wall the external panels, like I've been saying since the beginning, I like to do internal bracing. There was tons of ways that I could have done this. For some reason, I became motivated to do what I'm doing, so check it out. I've got a star pattern or a snowflake pattern of just pieces of 3/4 inch plywood that I'm gluing to the back panel in sort of a star shape, or like a snowflake type of a shape. Right now I've got it clamped. Kind of convenient because I don't really have access to conventional clamping, so I've just got a bunch of boards stretched across with clamps on the perimeters to apply some clamping pressure. Should be sufficient. Okay, so this should be less wood and lighter than double paneling by gluing 2 sheets of 3/4 together. I think that this will be just as structurally integral. So the panels obviously have accounted for these 45-degree angle braces that I have in here. Once all of this is dried, to me this will functionally be as rigid as 2 sheets of plywood or more. It won't have the ability to bow and flex based on having, if the glue is sufficient. So long as I've got my glue joints nice, then this should be as rigid as double wall. I don't know that it's as strong as triple wall, but it definitely should be at least double wall. It should be, I don't have a math equation, but I just can't imagine that would flex very much. I think, what's the dimensions here? For the sake of the conversation, these are just over 3 inches. And that type of bracing, it's pretty rigid. So these will not directly join up with anything. There will be a 1/4 inch of gap between these added braces and any of the paneling to the main enclosure. It's not exactly ideal, but I just didn't feel like attempting to be super precise and making everything fit nice. I don't believe it's going to give me an issue. Just don't. I will be able to clamp and glue the entire perimeter of this rear panel along with these 45-degree braces all the way around. That should, in my mind, be sufficient glue joint and structurally integral. I went ahead and I added some pieces of wood to the bottom so that when this back panel goes on, it will butt up against something. So all the way around, the back panel is going to butt up against something. That's going to give me more glue joint, more glue surface in this area here. I think that should be pretty good. I don't have clamps that are long enough to reach the front and then hook to squeeze this back panel on. I have 3. What's probably going to end up happening, and then I have a few ratchet straps that I might deploy. Kind of janky, but I can. I'll likely stand this whole enclosure up on its end so that just natural gravity will aid. I might be able to apply some weight. I've got a vise is pretty heavy. That vacuum pump is pretty heavy. maybe a couple other things laying around pretty heavy to help provide some weight. I'm gonna mock it up like I do everything, and I think worst case scenario or push come to shove, I will probably just apply a ton of screws to ensure that I get a nice clamp all the way around. The reason I make this video now is because once this panel's on, for me to explain the way I'm bracing this, the way it looks, you'll be able to see it from the inside, but also for the sake of the conversation, what I'm doing to clamp these said braces is, I don't know that it's ingenious, but it's sort of a way to make things happen, I guess. What else is useful information? Put those in. And I think it's nice to know, to explain that they're there so that when that panel goes on, it's got something to butt up against. I'm going to end up double walling this section here and butt paneling, plywood paneling up against that back panel for additional support. Not that it needs it, but it's starting to be fun to overbuild certain aspects of this. But this will give me a really dense base for whatever battery bank ends up happening in the future. Fingers crossed that I find the funds for a ton of batteries. And this is fun. I'm not sure that I've been able to present the front of this enclosure. I took my scraper and I scraped away some of the glue drip. I haven't done a perfect job. I intend to sand. I've got wood filler, wood putty. There's blemishes in this paneling that I need to sort out. Some of the blemishes from this being like repurposed, recycled wood. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I'm really excited. I'm not that far away from being in a position to test fit this in the van. I'm going to open the van up. Soon I'm going to cut that back wall out. Just doing a Google search for cutting, what's it called? Fiberglass. They just say like a die grinder with a cutoff wheel. And I don't really have a mask to wear, but with a little luck, I'll find a way to ventilate and blow all those glass fiber powder away from me. But yeah, I guess this is soon. I fear that it's going to contaminate and blow powder all over the front of the cabin area. Initially, I'm not that worried about it because it's not that clean in the first place. But it's just one more thing I've got to deal with. Yeah, trying to think if there's anything else specific to this build. So in the next video, my intentions are to have this back panel glued on effectively. And I can start sorting out, prepping for a stain or for a paint finish. I intentionally left these with overhang. Just makes it easier to build. I can flush trim route them. Being that they're uniform like that, I have 1/2-inch thick plywood that I just have, that I don't exactly have a plan for. And although I don't believe I need it, there's a small part of me that thinks I could just as easily glue and double wall this top. Like I say, I don't think I need it, but I'm looking at this like, man, I could just lay a, pop a bunch of glue down, and these are almost 1/2-inch. It would almost just go on there without any kind of drama at all. And so there's a small chance I will, because I don't know, when stuff fits together easily, it's kind of like, oh, may as well just do it, right? What else is worth? Oops, sorry. I think that's it, guys. I think we're gonna call that a video. Next video, the back should be glued on. So until next time.